And I think we're we're live. So let me go ahead and pop this out so I can move this over here. There we go. Okay, cool. So sorry. All right. So guys, welcome to, as you can see from the title of this video, it's called Organizing Your Trades. Organizing. All right, Jesus. I just did this and there was a problem with my microphone, so I'm redoing this. But it's organizing your financials and trading habits and making 285% gain overall. This is obviously a very specific number. This actually refers to an account that I'm about to show in this one. It is not the account link, but I'll do that in a different video. I've talked about this account before. Yeah, so there's that. So I haven't made a video in a little bit, and that was actually because I was out of town, and I've had a very hectic few weeks with a few. I'm a student, obviously, so there's certain like job offers and stuff that I'm considering, certain protocol that I have to go through for some of these jobs. So I can't talk too much about it, but whatever it is, it was important, it was cool. So now what I want to talk about is getting your stuff organized properly. So that's what this video is going to be about. I've made this Excel sheet, and I think, and not just think, but I know having something like this is extremely important for keeping track of your long-term history and your behavior, because there's no way to properly assess what it is that you're doing in the market, really. I mean, it's like the only thing you have is what your net is, but your net changes, and it changes during different points in time. For example, when you're trading at the beginning, you are typically, at the very beginning of when you start, you're a terrible trader. That's just how the game goes. And so you don't want to associate your beginning trading skills with your new trading skills where you've learned new information and stuff like that. So oftentimes that's how people disassociate things, and what they end up doing is they end up creating little sections where they say, okay, now I'm up, now it's my new change, now it's my new cycle, I'm finally a winner, blah blah blah, all that shit. It's not true most of the time, in my opinion. I don't think it holds, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. And I think that's important to keep track of, is to understand like where you're making your moves, where you're failing, where you're not making it up, keeping track of your percentages, because you don't have data. Your data is in your trades, but no one looks at your trades. You don't look at your trade statements. And if you don't, then you're not going to learn. So there's an easier way to do that, and that's to make one of these, is to make an account setup. So I'll go over my entire accounts, actually, and I'll go over my specific account that I want to talk about in this video, the one that's been doing pretty well. And I'll also obviously show the ones that suck, but those don't have the history. The only one that has history is this one. Now, I haven't done this for a lot of my time, but it's very important to learn how to do. And if you can keep track of yourself, you can keep track of what you're doing, then every time you enter a trade, anytime you do something, anytime you pay attention to what's going on in the market, you will know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's very important as far as all of this is concerned. All right, I can never clear my throat in this, but yeah. So that's why I'm making this. So maybe to you guys it'll make a little bit of sense, and I think I'll probably create a sample version that people can use. We'll see how that goes. If you guys want it, if you don't, if you want to make your own, blah blah blah. I don't really care. Yeah. So here we go. So this is my front page on this. I'm gonna actually start putting because I have, okay, and this is another thing I should probably cover. A lot of people have have multiple accounts. I have a lot. And so as a result of that, I need to be able to keep track of them, how I'm doing up, because oftentimes what it is it's short-term gains are often disguised as long-term losses. So you'll lose like 98% of your account, and then all of a sudden you'll make a 600% day, and you'll get half your account back, and then you'll think, oh my god, I'm the most amazing trader ever. But in the long term, that won't hold. Also, that math didn't add up, but it doesn't really matter. That might have actually. I don't actually think it did. I think I went a little bit beyond. But whatever the case is, no, you lost 98%. You need to gain back 1,000% in order to do so. Okay, yeah. So we'll actually go over that, because that's an interesting concept about losing. If you lose 10, I think I talked about this in my anatomy of the stock market. It's on the anatomy, but the math of the stock market video, I covered that. It's on my channel actually, so maybe I should go to it, because I don't ever like pump my channel here. So these are some of the people I follow. Not these. Yeah. So behind that. All right. So for example, let's see some live. In this video right here, the stock market's math, the math of the stock market. This is really important. It's 40 minutes long, and I talk about the what makes how the percentages add up, and keeping track of all of this is very important. I have my own little good quality tracking system here, but you guys don't have that if you're not making it, and especially if you're here. So that's why doing that is important. Now, long term, like I said, so despite the fact that you've gained half your account back in my long term losses, short term gains video or concept, it's that one of the problems there is that you won't be able to make that 600% again, and you will constantly try to get it. You will spend the rest of your career as a trader or whatever the hell you are trying to get that back, and you just won't get it back. This is about consistency. When I titled this, I said overall, I'm talking about consistently doing that. Your gains have to be stronger than your losses by a strong amount. So when you do this, you want to be able to keep track of your trades, your total amount. So I have an E-Trade, I have several Robinhoods, I have several Tastyworks, I have several TDs. So I need to keep track of them all. So where do I keep track of it for now? This is going to end up becoming some chart. So I'll have graphs and analytics that I'll start doing the math on and getting that in. So this is how I actually have demonstrated my my account to be worth. I've kind of blurred out some of the names, so because some of this is confidential, so I'm not going to get into that. But it doesn't matter. So here's the deal. So we're dealing with several accounts, and so these are how the accounts are distributed. We have two Tastyworks accounts. This one is about $2,100. This one's about $2,000. This larger account's about $9,723. It was $10,000 until one of the orders glitched out. So less than about Robinhood. I mean, not E-Trade. You got to be careful. Is like you got to keep up with what the orders are going in for, especially when you're entering a new thing. Be careful. I mean, it happens to a lot of people. It happened to me once when I was first starting out with Apple. I bought like 1,000, even though I wanted to buy like maybe $200 worth of whatever. But be that as it may, keeping track of this is very important. So now each one of these are linked to different things, and each one of those different things are connected to these different types of charts. This is where I keep track of the individual trading for a specific account, right? So as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have like 12, 13 accounts. So keeping track of all that is kind of important. And so the way you keep track of it is by linking them all together. So all of these add up to the total amounts, and these will go to here. So that's how this is kind of all connected. Additionally, I also set up reasons behind each one. So for example, this large account, half of this is about getting past PDT, because sometimes you won't. 18,000 is still not enough. So you have to kind of think your way out of these. And so the way that you can do that is by making accounts like this. I have this account right here, the H large account on E-Trade. That one I'm going to specifically do for day trading, scalping, stuff like that. That works some percent of the time. That's actually how I got this account so much higher. And then, a Tasty one is also for the same thing. It started at 2,000. It's there now. This is pretty recent. This is very recent. This is not my account. This was someone else's, and they had taken it from 1,000 to 60. So we brought it back up to 85, and now we're gonna bring it up even higher. That's the idea. I actually am terribly mad at this because I was in Baba, and Baba was at the very bottom of its rung, and it fully and I bought calls on it, and I was waiting, but then I started. I don't know what happened. Someone sold it for me, or my friend sold it for me because he was like, dude, this isn't gonna work. I was like, all right, fine. I let him sell it, and the things hit like 500 or whatever each one, and I had 3 of those. So yeah, that was the biggest bust ever, because this one started with about 1,000. Now this other account, it does not say 75,000. It should say $75, which it does. You can't see it because it's really small. And then we got all these tiny small all these accounts, right? And so each one of these accounts are made up of hrefs. Here they reference each different thing. So for example, this account right here, this is a bust. This account right here is a bust. This account right here is not my bust, but it's a bust. So yeah, and that happens sometimes. You do bust, and when you do that, you have to learn. You have to move on. So one of those strategies that I have set up is to take the gains that are taken from the large accounts to put them into the small accounts, and each one of these small accounts will be done using these methods. So these need to be tested and strategized and stuff like that. This is the largest Robinhood account that we have. So each one of these accounts need to be taken very seriously and carefully, and you need to kind of plan those out. But then they can be supplemented. Like I said, it is very hard to make a very large account out of small accounts. It's very, those people who do 500 to 10,000, they have the funds to test it multiple times, and they do. So anytime they bust, they start over, and they bust, they start over, they bust, they start over, and that keeps happening. They have a support system. So build yourself a support system if you can get one. So this is my support system here. These bigger accounts are my big support system. The money that goes here, the money that is generated from here will be funneled into these smaller accounts, which will consequently create enough to at least support losses on this bigger account. It's a symbiotic relationship between all the accounts, and that's what I'm trying to go for. Now, here is my here's my final account. So the way this one works, and these dates are not correct, so I'm not gonna worry about these. The way this one works is this account started with like 240. It actually started with 400, but after I made about 150 on it, I pulled my principal out, and so I didn't pull out the whole principal, but I pulled out part of the principal, and so so that actually skews this a bit, but not so much that it's actually off, because the percentages received on a lot of these accounts were still really good. Now, so here's how you do this, right? You put in your date. You should put in your date for sure. So you put in the symbol, and these are just symbols. These don't actually mean anything. And then you write long or short, calls or puts. For me, I just put all of them long, because regardless of whether or not it's a call or a put, I'm dealing with the increments. So if you're selling it, it's a different story. So if you're selling the put, then you will write S, right? So, for example, if I sell, okay, you can see the amount right now. It's 388. Let's say I sell Google, and I sell 100, because that's 100 contracts, and I sell $1 worth of this, and hit 0. Let me make sure this is right. Right, it sells $1 worth of this, and shouldn't be, and it goes to 0. Actually, it might have to be inverted. It might not have inverted yet. Okay, so I will fix that. But for the most part, I mean, the logic is still the same. All right, there we go. The logic is still the same. You just have to kind of follow its suit. So for example, let me actually take an actual call. So for example, let's say Disney, okay? So because we were looking at Disney today, let's say we bought one. There was one that we were looking for 1.26. Oh, no, I was looking at the puts. Okay, at 150, we were looking at the puts, so the puts were like 250. And then Disney absolutely tanked, and the puts hit 200. I don't know, was it 300? It was like 311, I want to say. So if we had done that accordingly, we would have made $65 today on that. And then accordingly, we get this win percentages. So the number, and this is a very simple thing. It just takes the number of plays that you've taken, and it divides them by the number of times you've actually been profitable. So if it's negative, then it comes out poorly. If it's positive, it comes out well. So that's the most basic idea. And then the whole thing gets added to this amount right here. So it's what, 68.90. So I believe this might have been a separately linked account, so I don't know if this is going to work. We're about to find out, because I'm about to increase this amount by a ton. So I said 1.26, right? All right. So we should make 185, Jesus. I think I glitched something out, but say I put it, I'm just gonna show just to test it. So we put in this much, so it's like 18,000. That's about right. It should show here, yeah. So it should update. It updated it here on this account over here, showing that it gained a significant amount. So that's what you want. You want to be able to keep track of this stuff. So I have different parts of here. There's the buy, sell, stop loss, profit target. This is mostly when you're scalping, but you can do it when you're doing day trading and stuff. Not day trading, I'm sorry, like swings and stuff like that. You can do it the same way. You have your profit target, your stop loss, trade confirmations, why you got into those trades, your win loss, your percentages, your initial risk, your money at work, so how much you're actually putting into it, what your percentage wins are. This is the number of times you're right total. This is the amount that you're making per. So for example, you can see that our wins are significantly higher than our losses. We lose 2%. This one was a big one. 31, 15%. Those are losses. 2%, 5%. This one made 100%. This one lost 13%. This one lost 46%. And those are the big ones. But then the rest of them are 10, 12, 85, 8.5, twos, 100%. This one probably helped. The 73%. See, none of those got that far. None of those lost 73%. So that's important when you're taking this on. You want to see what you're losing, what you're gaining overall, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So that's really important. Yeah, so I think that's all I have for this video for now. I'll probably advance this a little bit more once I develop this Excel sheet a little bit more. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Stay updated. I got 5 new subscribers, 6 new subscribers, baby. Let's go. And so, yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about for this one. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I'll catch you guys next time.